to the covenant of Solomon, we turn towards the temple and stretch forth our hands and pray, knowing that the eyes of God is on that place and he will hear and answer the prayer made towards the temple. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed be to you, Lord our God, King of the universe. All honor and glory to God, Abraham, God of Israel, God of Isaac, God of Jacob. We pray, O God, like in Genesis 20. But as for you, you meant it evil against us, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. We can do all things through Christ Jesus, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God and to those who are called according to his purpose. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is proven. He is a shield to all who trust in him. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. May your peace and protection be with us in the mighty and powerful name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe. Amen.
St. Thomas, and to more extension, we want to greet all the people in Jamaica. And we ask that you give us a listening ear, because the time has come when the voice of St. Thomas must be heard. My name is Constantine Bogle. I am the founder and president of the Paul Bogle Foundation and great-great-grandson to Paul Bogle. I am here to bring to your attention our findings and the work that we have been doing on behalf of this parish of St. Thomas, on behalf of the people of Jamaica, on behalf of black people all over the world. St. Thomas, we are here to discuss a memorial that was started in 1999 by your truly. In 1999, we started a memorial in memory of Paul Bogle and the people who died in St. Thomas. Here we are again, standing in front of the Morant Bay Courthouse. And we are at the spot where the Paul Bogle statue was displayed for 44 years. Now look at this sign that is placed here by the National Heritage Trust. Artistic impression of Paul Bogle. Every statue that is built is an impression of the artist. So an artistic expression of Paul Bogle does not tell us what this statue symbolizes. What we want to know from the Heritage Trust is what the statue symbolizes, because it cannot symbolize artistic impression. Are interested in finding out is what does the symbols on the statue represent, because you cannot build a statue without it symbolizes something. So our thing is, we are asking you to stand with us, and we will take you through this so that you can find out what the symbols really is about. Yes, in 1999 we started a memorial in memory of Paul Bogle and the people that died in St. Thomas. We put the 1,000 houses that was destroyed and the thousands of people together, and we call it 1,000 family. And we created what is called the lighting of the 1,000 family. We light 1,000 candles in memory of all of these people that died as a result of the atrocity and the hands of the Englishmen. Yes, here we are, standing at this time on the grave of 437 of the people that died with Paul Bogle. The biggest mass grave in the Western Hemisphere. These are those that are forgotten. These are the people whose blood was shed that bring independence to Jamaica. It is as a result of Paul Bogle and these people why we have independence, why black people can own land, why education was introduced to Jamaica. The Queen of England and the Parliament of England was to change the laws of every colony because of Paul Bogle and the people in St. Thomas. Oh, what a rich history we have. But yet we choose to be so proud that we cannot embrace ourselves. Well, tonight or this afternoon, I am here to show you how we are using that history and how we can use that history and turn St. Thomas into the richest place on the face of this earth. So get out your pens and your paper and let us do the maths. St. Thomas, we started this memorial right here in Morant Bay. And last year, we light 1,000 candles in front of the United Nations in America. We light 1,000 candles in front of the Parliament in Atlanta. The Paul Bogle Foundation lit 1,000 candles at the White House reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. All of this was done on the 18th of October last year, same day, same time. What we are trying to do on behalf of this parish is to develop a memorial day in memory of the 100 to 300 million black people that died as a result of slavery. Now, I know you're probably thinking or asking yourself, how will this be beneficial to St. Thomas? Well, the Paul Bogle Foundation has started this memorial in America last year. We officially started in 1999. And we are trying to have the world's largest candle vigil. Because let me explain something to you. Once we are able to light the candles in says 25 or 30 states out of the 50 states that is in America, same day, same time. Once we are able to light candles in America in 15, 20, 25 or 30 states on any given day in memory of the world's biggest atrocity, what that would have done, that would have forced the American media to show that event on a yearly basis, because it would become the biggest event that is taking place in America on that day. And once we are able to force the American press to show an event that is created in America, the biggest event that is now created in America by the Paul Bogle Foundation on a yearly basis, would have able to capture the attention of the world and to the parish of St. Thomas. So we are calling for your support, because over the years we have been doing this by ourselves. We have not been getting the support of our people in St. Thomas, the government of Jamaica, or Jamaican people in general. It is extremely difficult for us to continue to represent St. Thomas and Jamaica at this level and not having the support of our people. So I am asking you to sit down and take a look at what we have been doing. Now, how the vision comes about. Late 1989, I got the vision about the Morant Bay Rebellion. Wasn't paying much attention to the vision that I got. I continue to go to bed and the vision keep occurring. So I was in America at one point when the vision reoccurred. And I called a cousin of mine and I sent some money to him, and I asked him, I said, go to Morant Bay and get some shots of the Paul Bogle statue and send it to me. Make sure you get some good shots of the statue and send it to me, because I have a vision that keep reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring. Now when I get the pictures of the statue and I look at the statue, I became curious because of the revelation that I was seeing at that point. So I spoke to I get some advice from some people and was told, based on what I wanted to find out, to take the statue to people who study and know about symbols. So So I was advised to take the statue to priests or priestess. So the first person or the first place that I took the statue was at a Spanish church. Only one person in the church speak English. I walk into the church and I sit down with the picture of the statue, and at the appropriate time I got permission. I went to the table, to the priest, and I asked the priest to look at this statue and tell me what it symbolizes. Well, this man did not speak English, so he started talking in Spanish, and he said, "Oh papi, papi, oh papi, no good papi, no good papi, no good." And then he called up some of his other church people who study symbols as well, and they come up and say, "No good papi, papi, no good." So there was one gentleman in the church that speak Spanish and English. So he translated to me that the Spanish man is saying to me that this statue represents a curse. So today, now after that, I decided to take the statue to a couple more churches to find out their opinion from other priests. So I went to an African church one Sunday evening, and I sit close to the back of the church in a corner with the statue, with a picture of the statue in a bag. And while the pastor was preaching, the pastor came down the aisle and he did like this, and he called me out and he bring me before the congregation. At this time the statue was still in the bag, and he said to me in front of his audience, he said, "My brother, this is an African church. Now," he said, "my brother, let me explain something to you. I am from a highly religious family in Africa, and I don't want you to tell me what is in your bag or what you come about. I am telling you, this thing that you have in your bag is a curse." And until this day, the African pastor refused even to look at the statue or the picture of the statue. It was revealed to him spiritually what I had in the bag. So I am telling you this evening that our findings on the statue is that the statue was built of the name Bogle, which means an evil appearance, an evil spirit, and the third meaning is Satan or Duppy. In 1999, Reverend Dick, pastor of Boulevard Baptist Church, a man from St. Thomas, someone who did his thesis on Paul Bogle, wrote an article in the Gleaner on the 5th of December, and he said that the statue in St. Thomas is very significant because it depicts the image of the crucifixion of Jesus. We invite Reverend Dick, because I was a counselor in the St. Thomas Parish Council at the time, so we invite Reverend Dick to the St. Thomas Parish Council to explain to us what exactly the article means. Reverend Dick said that Dr. David Baxter, a close friend to Edna Manley, studied the statue and found that the statue was a religious cross prior to the death of Edna Manley. And both of them came to the conclusion that this statue is a religious cross representing the crucifixion of Jesus. We question Reverend Dick to find out, if you have a statue that is representing the crucifixion of Jesus, why is it that you refuse to have the church acknowledge the cross and commemorate the cross? We also question Reverend Dick to find out, why is the cross not placed in front of a church? Instead, it is placed in front of a courthouse if it represents Jesus. Because I personally know that Reverend Dick was lying, and that the article was to cover up the truth that we were trying to expose about the statue. So we also asked, you know, that the findings, the studies that Dr. David Baxter did on Paul Bogle be released. Well, from 1999 until now, 11 years, we have not heard anything from Reverend Dick, or the church still refused to commemorate the statue. Now we have a situation where they are trying to move the statue out of St. Thomas. The burning down of the courthouse was to destroy the statue, because Edna Manley lied to the Jamaican people and lied to the St. Thomas people when she was building the statue, because she told the people that nobody knew the image of Paul Bogle, nobody knew how Paul Bogle looked, and nobody have any picture of Paul Bogle, and that was a lie, because this is 144 years since Paul Bogle died. And at the time when Paul Bogle's son was alive, many people was alive who knew Paul Bogle personally. So Edna Manley lied. We also have a situation where Princeton University, just the 5th of October last month this year, declared on the internet that they have released a number of pictures on Morant Bay Rebellion. This is one of the most recognized universities in the world. And the reason they say that they are releasing these pictures is because they want the world to know that the Maroons are traitors, because they were catching the people in the Morant Bay Rebellion on behalf of England. But that story also have two sides. If they have all of these pictures showing that the Maroons are traitors and they were catching people in the Morant Bay Rebellion, it also means that they must have picture of the leader. So Edna Manley once again lied to the Jamaican people. And when Edna Manley went to England and said that England was the only place on the earth she could find a cast to build a statue of Paul Bogle, I couldn't understand that. Because once again, what Paul Bogle did, or what Paul Bogle was accused of, is killing 29 people in a vestry, which we call Parliament today. 29 white men. The Queen of England and England, until this minute I am speaking to you, their records still say that the people of St. Thomas is criminals, and that Paul Bogle a criminal. So how could you build a statue for a person in our country we recognize him as criminal? Well, my dear Jamaicans and St. Thomasites, my brother, my cousin, Marcel Clarke, who is also the great grandson of Paul Bogle, will take you through the statue and show you all that we have discovered about the statue, and we are here to prove that the statue is in fact a curse, and that Edna Manley knew what she was doing. But this curse that is placed upon St. Thomas, I know that a lot of people are going to get upset about it, but I am asking you to relax and take it easy, because the same curse that they used to suppress and depress St. Thomas and to hold down St. Thomas for all of these years, we find a way how we can use that curse and turn St. Thomas into the richest place on the face of the earth. We find a way how we can use the same curse that is used to put us down. We can use it to turn St. Thomas into the richest place on earth. Let me give you an example. The Statue of Liberty in New York attracts about 12 million people per year. If St. Thomas, if this statue is declared by the government of Jamaica, which they are not going to do it, so it is you, St. Thomas people, will have to come out and call out to the government and say that they must tell us what the statue symbolizes. You cannot have a national monument. The statue is a national monument built off of one that was declared a national hero by the country, and we must call for the statue to show on television so that everybody in Jamaica can see the statue Because you can't build a national monument in a country and it can't show up on television. It makes no sense. It means that you have something covering up and hiding. So a lot of people is running around and going on an IRFM Running Africa program and talking about the statue must be removed because it represents Bagan. That also is a lie. Because Edna Manley once said she didn't know how Paul Bogle looked. And she once said it was a symbol of uprising she are building. So now that we find out say the statue represents a curse, and we know say if we hold on to this curse and bring it out to the attention of the world, and it is the only statue like that can be found on the face of this earth, St. Thomas, I am telling you that you are in fact the richest country and the richest place on God earth. So don't make nobody con you into this whole thing about because the statue is a curse, it must go. The fact that the curse is revealed through the powers of the Almighty God, it means that the curse is now broken. So we must not get rid of this curse because there's so much we can use this curse to do. We can use this curse to make every university on earth that people are studying history have to study this statue. We can make people travel from the four corners of this earth, just like how people travel to Mecca and all other places, the birth of Jesus and all these places where millions of people travel on a yearly basis. So we find a way, but we need your support. We need you to take up the phone and call in and ask that the statue show on television and ask that the Jamaican government come out and tell us what the statue symbolizes. So we are here calling this afternoon, calling and begging you for the support to get the statue out on television. And with your support, St. Thomas, we can break this economic hardship. And I, Constantine David Bogle, I tell you, say, the revelation where I get from the Almighty God, we can use this and turn St. Thomas into the richest place on the face of earth. But you have a role to play. I can do but so much. So the ball is now in your court. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Marcel Antonio Robertson, Clarke, Secretary of the Paul Bogle Foundation, great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle. I'll take you on a journey of secrets, revelations, mystery, and also curses. But most of all, I'll take you through deliverance. The Paul Bogle statue that was erected in 1965 and sculpted by Edna Manley has now been revealed to us that it has not only one face, but 5 faces, numerous symbols, other hidden secrets, and as we go along each day, more of them are being revealed. Let me take you through the journey. I was on a 7-day fast, but I had extended it to 10 days. And on the 8th day, I was talking to my cousin Constantine Bogle, who was telling me the history of the Paul Bogle Foundation and what the foundation was about, how the foundation came about, and how it came through a vision that God gave him about the statue, that the statue was in fact a curse. While he was talking about the statue, he revealed something that I didn't know growing up as a lad in Morantry, that the statue was actually a cross. While he said that it was a cross, I immediately remembered I had a picture of the statue on my computer. So while we were facing one direction, the computer was to my right side. And as I brought the picture up and turned and looked at the picture, I saw 2 eyes in the stomach area looking back at me. And when looking closely at the picture, I realized that that was a face of the Virgin Mary. So I said to Con, Con, did you know that there was a face in the statue other than the head face? He said, no. I said, look, there it is. And he immediately confirmed that it was in fact a face. And that night, I was also further looking at the statue. I realized that the statue was not just a cross and not just had two faces, but that the statue actually had, the statue was actually a 5-point star. After looking at it the next day, I realized that the statue had another face in the stomach area, and it was a face of a medieval type soldier. I immediately called 10 to 15 people in my office to look at the picture to see if I was seeing things or I was going crazy. They immediately confirmed that it was in fact a face and that it was in fact a soldier, and they started to point out other things inside the stomach area. And in further studying, we realized it had more faces. It now had symbols in there that represented the Freemason Lodge. Now, that is strange, that a statue that was made to honor Paul Bogle not only had one face, but it had 5 faces. It now has 11 eyes. It now has numerous Freemason symbols placed right across the statue. That is not mere coincidence. It must be an act of God, a divine intervention. The eyes that are in Bagan's face depicts the dictionary meaning of the name Paul Bogle. Evil appearance, an evil spirit, a duppy, and in some dictionaries it says phantom, goblin, and scarecrow. There is an unseen eye in the forehead of the statue, which is the eye that is on the back of the US dollar bill in the pyramid, which is called the Arius. The sword thought to have been a machete, but is in fact a sword to represent a Scottish Freemason sword for their lodge. The hands that come together on the statue is also a Freemason secret handshake. The rib cage symbolizes the sun god. That is the rib cage as you just see, which also makes up the helmet, the medieval soldier. It also makes up the veil for the Virgin Mary. There is a half a circle in the waist area of the statue, which is also the mustache of the medieval soldier, and also the blonde-haired, blue-eyed pagan Jesus. It makes up this mustache for them, and also it is a Freemason symbol. The entire statue is a cross, and each point of the statue makes up a 5-point star. The head is 1, the elbow is 2, the foot is 3, the other foot is 4, the other elbow makes 5, which completes a 5-point star, which is a Freemason symbol. The first face in the statue is the Virgin Mary. The second face is the medieval soldier. The third face is a monster, which the rib cage area and in the stomach area would make up the mouth. And if you look underneath the hands, where you see the breast, that makes up the 2 eyes of the monster. The fourth face is the blonde-haired Jesus, as I said before, the pagan Jesus. And the fifth face is the head face of the statue, not a true picture of Paul Bogle. It is said that there were several pictures of Paul Bogle, and also people were still alive that personally knew Paul Bogle. The sword that is turned down toward Paul Bogle's private parts to cut off his bloodline, the future generation of the Bogle. The hands also covers the hearts to hide the secrets. I wonder what the secrets are. The town of Morant Bay is in fact surrounded by death. In studying the statue and studying the whole symbolism of the statue, we found out that the town of Morant Bay was in fact designed by a lodge called the Knights Templar, which is before Freemasons, bigger than Freemasons. And we have found that there are several things placed around the town of Morant Bay, across the parish, and to include Jamaica. Every entrance that leads to the town of Morant Bay is surrounded by death. When we come from the east, you have the hospital. When you're coming from Stanton Road, you have a funeral home morgue there, and then you have a little cemetery further up the road, and then you have a lodge way up the road there in a lonely area. Coming from Morant, you have another funeral morgue, and then you come by the cemetery by the roundabout. When you're coming from Roselle, there's another funeral homes morgue, and then you come to the roundabout, you have the cemetery again. When you leave the cemetery, coming towards Morant Bay, you get to a place called Church Corner, which formerly was a graveyard. Coming further along that road, you have the NWA building, popularly known as the PWD building, which was in fact the first police station and that is where they actually had hangings. Leaving there, going to the back of that area is called Bamboo River. So from Bamboo River, coming back all the way on the sea coast, you come across the Rum Store Plaza. You have the Christmas Plaza, which is beside the park, which is in fact the slaughterhouse, another area of death. All along that area, coming right back to Colonel's Cove, was the wharf. And you know with the wharf, you deal with several kinds of things, including the death. At the back of the courthouse, looking towards that seaport, is all the cannons that used to fire the ships passing by. So the whole area is covered by death. When we get into the town of Moranthe, in the Methodist Church, underneath the altar of the church, the rich of the church, of the Methodist Church, was buried underneath the altar, to include in the churchyard. In up by West Street, there is a block factory up there. That block factory used to be an old Catholic church, and they used to have graves in the yard. There's a big property that is called the Mount. It's over 270 acres, and at the foot of it, Lightburn was buried there. At the back of the courthouse, 430 odd people were buried alive in a mass grave. To show in this area, right in this area where we're standing, they were buried, in fact. The NCB parking lot used to be an old lodge hall, and when a member of the lodge died, they would tie that person between two live persons and march them around the entire town of Moranthe. Where the post office and the all-age school is now is in fact the old hospital, which was destroyed by fire. So we have dead again. In the Texaco gas station, a certain section, a little corner section of the gas station, they used to make coffins there, and it was norm for them to bring the dead to measure them in the coffin to see which coffin they would fit in. There are other things in the town that is covered by death. There's a monument across the street from the courthouse. It's in a little park area, and it's nothing but dead people's name on it from World War II. But that monument is in fact the eye sign of Satan. The monument is called an Egyptian obelisk. Isn't it strange that so much monuments, symbols, dead is in this town? If you connect a dot between the Moranthe Methodist Church, the Baptist Church, and the Anglican Church, if you connect it by a straight line, you'll find that it forms a triangle. If you connect the Anglican Church Hall, and the Baptist Church, and the Catholic Church, you'll find that it makes a triangle also. Any of them, the original churches in the town of Moranthe, that you connect, any three of them, you connect by a line, a straight line, you get a triangle. Even where the old Catholic Church was at the block factory on West Street, if you connect them by lines, it makes a triangle. Isn't it strange? So much symbolism, so much secrets, so much has been revealed. I don't think it's strange. I think it was intentional. Somebody had a plan, and I think that plan was to curse the parish of St. Thomas. Look at the Catholic Church. It sits at the highest point in the town of Moranthe, and it overlooks the Methodist Church, Baptist Church, Anglican Church. And as I said, if you connect the dots, they all have a symbolism. They all make up the symbol of a triangle. In fact, the monument that sits across there, there's another one that's in the churchyard of the Methodist Church. On the side, it has it's a smaller version, has a little grill around it. It has some writings on it. I've not been able to study the writings yet, but it's the same design as the symbol here in the park. If you go to Dwaynepen, right by that caravan and the plywood restaurant that has the Jamaica flag on it, in between those two structures is another monument, which is the same design as the one here. If you look at the Methodist churchyard, the columns on the fencing, it has the same design. If you look at the structure that they make to put the GPS meter on nowadays, it makes up the same design of that monument. Symbolism is not strange. There's something about it. Even the very mileposts on the minor and major roads are built of the design of the Egyptian obelisk. Go even further, the highest sign. Look at the design of the Moranthe Methodist Church, the design of the Anglican Church, and the design of the Baptist Church. They all have the same shape as the monument across there. You look at even the sections of the Goodyear building, the same design is on the building. These designs are not just strange, they are symbolic, and they all lead back to the Freemasonry Lodge. The Lodge is a society of secrets. Whatever their secrets are, only the members really know. But we intend to find out. The man, if not all, some of this is said to have destroyed the statue. Weeks and days before he destroyed the statue, he used to go and stand where the statue was erected, and he would pose just as how the statue posed. In fact, sometimes he would have a machete, and some days he would go and stand at the gate column of the Baptist church in Morandi. Somebody asked him one day, "Why are you doing that?" He said, "A new world coming." I wonder what he meant by that. But I found it strange that after being so symbolic and standing there each day and posing in front of the statue, that he would just get up one day and destroy it. I see that as being divine intervention. After destroying the statue, the whole town of Morbi became curious, became concerned. In fact, it piqued my interest at times as to what happened to the statue really. But I never had any concern to dive into it, into finding out what was so strange about this statue. But God had his purpose. God had his meaning. And while I was on the fasting, he started to reveal all these faces and all these symbols and what they actually stood for. Each day as I go along, I learn something. Even in conversation with people on the street, a lot more has been revealed. But I find it strange that all this has been there for 40 odd years. I find it strange that all this was sculpted into the statue. I don't think it was an accident. It couldn't be mere coincidence. It must have been intentional. I view it that they had an ulterior motive. I believe that the statue is in fact a curse. Yes, it is a cross. It is a 5-point star. It has 5 faces and it has 11 eyes and numerous Freemason symbols. It couldn't be mere coincidence. The lodge must have had something to do with this. The sword, in fact, dates back to the Scottish Freemason, another lodge. And where was the statue made? The statue was actually made in England. And the reason why it was made in England, Edna Manley said that the only place she knew that there was a cast big enough to make a statue of this size was in England. But from my layman's mind, I know that when you're making something from scratch, you would make your own mold. So I don't see the purpose or the reason why the statue was made in England. Must have been to place the curse. I leave it in your hands.
Greetings, Jamaicans, both home and afar, the diaspora across the world. We are here on the location of the grave of the 437 people who were martyred in October 1865. And on this location in Morant Bay is a very historic place, which when we on every Heroes Day, when films are shown about different heroes and heroine, we don't see places like these anymore, or even in at all. We have found out symbols and signs on the statue of Paul Bogle, and we are curious of how they got there. But through research and study, we have found out the meaning of many of these symbols, and so it has caused us to come to know that this was not by coincidence, but what was planned. The sword represents a cross, and at the tip of the cross there is a crescent which represents authority and power from the god Zeus. We have seen in the forehead of the statue the eye of Horus, the Egyptian god of protection and powers from deities. And it caused us to wonder, why all these symbols upon, it said, a common person as Paul Bogle? And now we have found this information and we are putting it to the people of St. Thomas and the Jamaican diaspora to get interested, to find out what is really going on or what had happened when a statue is cast. It normally, the mold has to be built by the person who has the image of whatever or whoever is being made. And there's no definite answer of how the statue come about being made. It is said that Edaman did the statue, but yet still we found things on the statue that keep telling us that it is much more than Edamanly. As the town of Mark is laid out, memorial park, to this point, and in the center of the memorial park there's an obelisk. An obelisk is, on the obelisk, the names are written of past soldiers, persons who lost their lives in World War. But curious we are when we found the tomb of 437 people, George Garden, Paul Bogle, people who died in the 1865 rebellion. But yet we haven't found any of these persons' names on the obelisk. Question: who can provide us with the answers? We need answers. And we direct these answers, these questions, to the Prime Minister. All these symbols, all these signs, strange to a lot of us. Some of us, as the first time we are seeing a lot of these signs. We see them all around us, but not knowing what they actually mean. But nothing that happens in this world happens by accident or coincidence. So to the diaspora, the people of St. Thomas and Jamaica to the farthest extent, we present this video to you this evening, this time. We present this video to you this time, so you can become curious, questions, you can look into this information, and on your own can form your opinions. And as we seek to find what is the true meaning of the statue, we ask again from the Prime Minister and the government, tell us the truth about Paul Bogle's statue. Thank you.